Of course, I kicked the camera just as we're coming on to say, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Big Apple Hockey. It is great to have you guys. Hopefully, not as many Saturday shows. We're trying to find a new time slot soon. I am your host, Mark Williams, and John Volkowski is coming on in just 1 minute, but I am joined finally by Mr. Anthony Larocco.
Yes. It's good to be back. A lot to talk about. And for those wondering about the Crown, well, men's league team is named Royal Puck-Ups, and I netted 4 goals last night. So I earned it last night. But, yeah, that's
all right. About. So first things first, Anthony, let's take us through all 4 goals.
First goal, I kind of found the soft spot in the slot, and my buddy was in the corner. Just passed it to me, and I one-timer in. Second goal, turnover at the blue line. I crossed into the zone. I kind of went around one of my teammates, used him as a screen, and shot across my body to the left side and beat the goalie. Third goal was more of an individual effort. I stole the puck at the red line. I went around 2 guys, and then I kind of beat the last defenseman by lowering my shoulder and then cut hard to the net, and I put it 5-hole. And then the last goal was empty net goal. Again, I got the puck inside our blue line, and I just sent it down, and it hit. So
nice. All right. Oh, yeah. Where was the game, by the way?
Dix Hills.
Oh, okay. The new rink or the old rink?
The old rink.
Do you like that one better than the new one?
You know what? Sometimes I do. I like the lighting and everything better in the new rink, but sometimes the ice on the new rink is just garbage. Like they a lot of times like they'll have those like teeny bopper like open skate nights, and the ice is just total garbage after that because they just basically flood it, and they leave so many divots in the ice, and it's really dangerous to skate on. They don't use the old rink anymore for those skates, so that's why sometimes I prefer playing on the old rink. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? It's one of those things that sometimes I don't know exactly how that ends up. Because the old rink, I got a lot of good games I had on the old rink, but those high boards can be both a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's just return John to his usual spots. And Filk, you ready?
Sorry, guys. I'm just
don't worry about
messing around with this thing today.
Oh, it's all good. Because as soon as you're ready, I'm going to get your close-up. I'm ready for my close-up.
Yeah.
Anthony, you taking the crown off?
What?
You taking the crown off?
He's frozen right now.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, because I was talking about, I think my last 4 goal game was like 5, 6, 8 years ago. John is no longer frozen. That also matters.
Yeah, this is another thing I've been dealing with this thing. It's just it freezes quite a bit, unlike the laptop. So the connection for some reason.
As long as we could always hear you, there is the host of the Final Buzzer with John Volkowski, Mr. John Volkowski.
So, new platform, new way to talk. So, sorry if I come off a little distorted, I guess, if you will.
No, it's all right, Phil, because this is we got a lot we're going to be talking about, and it's just good to hear you because we have we're going to be doing a trade deadline special on Monday. Going to be signing on probably about 1:00, and it's breaking down some of the trades that have already happened, as well as trying to go all the way to 3:30. I keep saying like maybe 4:00, but Mondays are a difficult day for me, so that's where the hard part is. But like I said before, whenever John can, you always check him out after a Ranger game with the Final Buzzer. Speaking of the Rangers and the Islanders, they've been on St. Patrick's Day. Those poor security guards, guys. St. Patrick's Day and a Ranger Islander game. There must have been 10,000 fights. But the Rangers right now sitting 38, 18, and 5, and their counterparts sitting in 6th place. They're 19 points out of playoff spot with 4 games in hand. Chris Kreider, 40th goal of the season. But the big story of that game were the goaltenders. What a game between the two of them. Ilya Sorokin beating his good buddy. And I have this clip ready to go for us. Just seeing if that's an amazing save. That is a ridiculously amazing save. So, guys, Anthony, I'll start with you since you texted it to me right away. What are your thoughts on the Sorokin stick save?
I mean, it was like many of us said, it was just one of those saves where it's like, did that really just happen? You can watch the replay, and because when you first see it live, you're like, how did that not go in? You think, oh, maybe it hit the post or whatnot, because you wouldn't compute that he would have saved that. When that play developed, I'm like, oh, well, 1-0 Rangers. It is what it is. And then, he got his stick on it. And for me, what was the most impressive thing about it was that, as you saw, he was off balance. Like his knee bent behind him, which, by the way, had a heart attack. It's a good way to blow out a knee. So despite it kind of being off balance, he still had the presence of mind to track the puck with his eyes and be able to extend his stick in the way he did. It was an incredible save. Made number 1 ESPN top 10 plays for that night. But that save was just the epitome of Sorokin's game that night. He's the reason why the Islanders ended up winning that game. He answered the bell numerous times. The Kreider breakaway is stopping Zibanejad. I'm sure he was juiced up to play his good buddy. They talked about it in the pregame show. They're good friends. I'm sure they want to best each other, friendly rivalry. But yeah, I mean, that save was sensational. It's all you could say about it. Just, stick taps to Sorokin on that.
Filk,
what can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do?
That sums it up. I mean, as he watched it also, he's down, he's got the stick out. Usually the desperation thing goalies do. He actually readjusts to bat it out. So that's ridiculous.
There's just, what can you do? It's literally just sums it up. What can you do?
Well, how about the goaltending matchup that we're going to be seeing probably for the next decade?
I mean, this is what it's going to be. I mean, we're in for a treat, but yeah, I want to see how a game looks without shitty officiating.
Well, more on that right now.
Yeah,
because
I want to
talk about how great that game was. And then it has to end. And I got that video for you right here on that because and I have a slow motion version of that as well. Filk, I know you're chomping at the bit for it, so we're just going to watch you go off.
Just completely inexcusable. I don't understand how these guys have jobs. I just don't. I don't know how you missed that elbow. I don't know how you missed the cross checks on Zibanejad and Strome. I don't know how you call Alexis Lafreniere for a slash on a stick check. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit all night. And it's been going on for a while. I don't get how a team that plays it the way that the Rangers do, and in the way that the games are called today, these days, the Rangers are generating that little amount of penalties in a game, and then you have crap like this. Like, you know what? Honestly, if you're going to put the whistles in the pocket, put the whistles in the pocket. But don't be calling shit one-sided in a game like that. It's awful. They say that they don't want to. They don't want to, influence the outcome of a game, but all you're doing by doing what you did on Thursday night is doing that exactly. And yeah, sure, you could say Sorokin was great. He was great. I mean, the Rangers could have scored on some chances, yeah. But I mean, like, how is it that a team like the Islanders that gets penalized as much as they do on a regular basis gets away with all that type of shit in one game against the Rangers? I mean, I know Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, they've got Uncle Gary in their back pocket, so you don't have to worry about that. And I mean, God forbid you criticize them, you're fine for that. But I don't understand this shit anymore. I really don't, and it's annoying. And honestly, if the Islanders go to overtime in that game, the Islanders are not a great overtime team, and they're dog shit in the shootouts. What are they, 3 for 28 this year in shootouts?
Anthony,
3 for 28.
I heard this stat the other day. They scored 6 shootout goals total the entire season, or was it? 8?
Yeah, they're not a good shootout team this year. They're whatever it is. I don't know.
Which is shocking because they've been a good shutout team for the last.
Yeah, they have, but this year they're just par for the course, like everything else, right?
Yeah, whatever can go wrong went wrong for them, but it's just I saw that, and I watched the blood dripping off of Lindgren's head.
How do you miss that? How do you miss that?
I don't know.
You're right there looking at it. Pick your head out of your ass and watch the fucking play.
Basically.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple. Stop pulling tic-tac bullshit and call the blatant shit. It's not hard.
But he had the puck. He had the puck. And again, like we were talking about it before we got on. Like, look at where Wallstrom's elbow is. That extends out. There are frames where it goes even further. Yeah, stuff like that happens all the time. But you know what? No. It should have been called. It's not why they lost. Mika Zibanejad leaving Kyle Palmieri all alone in front. That's bad. But whatever. I mean, it ruins a great game. We should be talking about the goaltending matchup. But Anthony, your thought on that?
I mean, the referees. It's really the story, kind of like every single game or year for that matter. There's just inconsistencies, missed calls, penalties that shouldn't be penalties. These guys have kind of like a thankless job. I would not want to be a referee. It's high pressure. They're under a lot of pressure. Let's face it. The game moves so fast. They miss things. Like I said, they call things that aren't really there. But at the end of the day, every team and whatever team you're a fan of, or whatever teams are playing, I feel like every night there's a call that kind of screwed a team, and it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is.
I can't even do this.
These refs need to be better.
Not in this way.
All right. Well, Filk, you're having some technical difficulties, right?
Yeah. This connection is going to keep going. I could try to do it on my phone, but I don't know how much better I'm going to fare.
All right. Well, try to load it up in your phone. I'll get the code for you in a second. And also, we're going to move on to talk some of the trades that just happened this weekend. Guys, what do you think? And was the referees finish the outcome of the game? How about that Sorokin stick save? How about Igor Shesterkin? We never even mentioned him. He was great in this game. And, I mean, the goals that beat him, they earned it. And they were not flukes. So, good game on St. Patrick's Day. Throw it all down in the comments below. Don't forget to leave us a like, share, and subscribe. So,
check it, man.
All right. So, if you can, try to just go on your phone and put the.
I did. I'm saying check it.
Oh, check it. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check it. Check it.
Jesus Christ, that sucks.
It's in the chat. All right. Find the current banner. And there he goes. All right. And just like that, I was all alone. By the way, everybody, don't. Oh, good to get back. By the way, everybody, check out the trade deadline special. It's going to be the trade deadline's at 3:00. Probably stream it from 1 to 4 to make it a little bit easier. And we got John back joining us again, and you look crystal clear and even more colorful. So, guys, a lot of news that happened this week.
Yeah, just trying to find.
There were a lot of tectonic plates that shifted. Tomas Hertl signing an 8-year extension. Guys, do we have the numbers on that yet?
What?
Or does it anybody? I know
Tomas
Hertl.
It's 8
Yeah.
years by 8-1-2-6-5, I think.
All right, so that's a pretty good deal for Tomas Hertl. Then you have Frank Vetrano acquired from the Panthers. The Panthers turn around and get Ben Sherratt from the Canadiens. Calle Jarnkrok. Oh, this is just a move that I look at and go, damn. The Flames are going to be real good. The move we're going to be talking about, a lot of us, is Tampa Bay getting Brandon Hagel from the Blackhawks. This one I actually had for 2 players and 2 first rounders. Brandon Hagel's worth 4 players. Wow. I mean, I know he's signed, but wow. Claude Giroux not accompanying the Flyers on this road trip, and Robin Lehner could miss the rest of the season. Good news for your team if you have a potential goalie situation you might want to trade. Islanders. All right. So, Anthony, we'll start with you. What moves could you see coming next?
Well, I think the most obvious one is Claude Giroux to either the Panthers or the Avalanche. Those are the 2 teams that are said to be in the final running for him. Owen Tippett's being held out for the Panthers affiliate. So, I think that the Panthers probably have the leg up. I had heard that he actually prefers Florida over Colorado. So that's a move I could see happening, by, later today or tomorrow. I'd be surprised if it goes out to Monday. But yeah, I think Giroux to the Panthers is probably going to happen sometime soon. And just as Claude Giroux and the Florida Panthers, just scary. I mean, they're a scary team as it is. You add Giroux to that mix. To me, I know the Hurricanes are, one of the better teams in the East, but I think the Panthers adding Giroux kind of propels them to the top. I know they had the injury with Ekblad. I actually heard today that they said it's actually not as bad as first feared, but he's still going to be out for a little bit. But yeah, Giroux, I think the Florida is one of the moves I see coming next. And I don't know which team it will be, but I think Hampus Lindholm's on his way out. He's been held out, and he's the big get of the trade deadline season for defensemen. He's a really good defenseman, can move the puck, good in his own end. He's been linked to St. Louis. He's been linked to Boston. I know LA was in the mix for Chychrun. I wonder if they can't get him if they turn their eyes to Lindholm. But then again, the Kings, Ducks, a little bit of rivalry there. SoCal teams. I don't know if they'll trade with each other, but those are the 3 teams I can maybe see Lindholm going to.
Filk, what do you see in your crystal ball?
I don't see Patrick Kane, and I don't see Alex DeBrincat. I think Brian Lawton is blowing smoke out his ass there, even though I like Brian Lawton. I don't think either of that is happening. I think Hampus Lindholm's definitely gone. There might be a player that ends up unexpectedly being moved. I wonder where he goes. I think the Rangers should be in on him, depending on what the price is. A first rounder just seems too much for my liking. If that's what they're really hell bent on, then no thanks.
Who was the player you said?
Arturi Lehkonen.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know why, but I have this feeling that the Rangers are not going to be in on Lindholm, but they're going to be in on Jakob Chychrun. And the reason I say that is just because of the fact that the vibe that I get is that they don't want to give up top prospects for rentals. And if they can go get Phil Kessel, fine. They could go get Alex Radulov, fine. They'll come cheap. Price tags won't be high on them. But for some strange reason, I've got, and this is just me, I could be totally wrong, but it's just a gut feeling. I think that they're in on Chychrun.
I think they want to upgrade that defense. I think he fits into the contract structure. And especially if you can get Arizona to retain like a little bit of money on that. Because they might have trouble hitting cap floor next season. They might always make deals like, Shea Weber could help that. But, if they retain on Jacob Chychrun for, the next 2 years after this one, I mean, even a little bit, that could definitely help them. And that might up the price. But Chychrun would be a long-term investment for the Rangers and would help solidify the top 6 going for a while. So
I don't foresee like any huge moves by the Rangers. They've been trying to keep everything cost effective and not take on players with a lot of term. Jacob Chychrun kind of fits that category. And I often keep going back to this, and you guys have heard me say this ad nauseum, but what are you getting this player for? Adam Fox is the top power play guy. He's the top defenseman. If you're telling me you're just getting Jacob Chychrun for 5-on-5 play and power play 2, which plays 20 fucking seconds, then no, that's just dumb. And I got into this argument with guys that I know, good friends of mine, but it's they should go get JT Miller, or they really need another top 6 forward. Why? Well, here's the thing. I've said this before because the Rangers have a pending free agent coming on soon.
Here's why. 1, they're bottom 5 in the league in 5-on-5 offense. 2, they can't sustain offensive zone time in their own in the offensive zone. They have trouble generating scoring chances. They're one of the worst teams in the league at 5-on-5 and even strength offense. How the hell do you think that we do not need another top 6 forward?
Because I look at it also and think power play, you're just going to end up wasting whatever. If the Rangers go out and get Filip Forsberg. They're doing nothing with him. They're just sticking him 5-on-5. Somehow Ryan Strome will get more ice time.
Ryan Strome will get taken off that power play if they get Filip Forsberg. You best believe that.
They need another right-handed shot for that power play. I'll leave it at that. I mean, I love Filip Forsberg and all the ideas that, but it's just no. And
no need for Chychrun. How is there no need for Chychrun? This team's defense, I should say, is just awful. They're one of the worst teams in the league at bleeding out high danger scoring chances against. Jacob Chychrun is not only going to help offensively, because you're not bringing in Jacob Chychrun to do what he did last year. What he did last year is an outlier. It's more than likely not being replicated again. He was shooting at 18%. What? It's at 18%. No one. It's not happening again. So if you're asking for that, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're starting off in the wrong foot to begin with. What you're doing is you're bringing in a guy that can play reliable top 4 minutes, eat them on the left-hand side. And then if you want to put him on a power play, you can. You don't need him to be Adam Fox. You don't need him to score 70 points in a season. And more than likely, if he's not doing that, he's not going to command $8 to $9 million a year as a defenseman anymore.
I think a lot of the news still has to go with Capo Caco and what is going on with him. They still don't know what's going on. If you're not using him,
bring us the cup. No, but does anyone else bring us the cup right now? I think that's a very disingenuous question to ask.
Well, I think it's just a question. Anthony, Chychrun to the Rangers, would that make any sense to you? Or would that move the needle?
I mean, yeah, it would. I just don't think that he's the most pressing need for the Rangers. I actually read Arthur Staples. I saw he wrote a piece in The Athletic. I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but it was on my Twitter feed today, so I read it. It was just, Rangers deadline primer. What are we hearing? He didn't mention Jacob Chychrun. He mentioned Marc Giordano. He mentioned Lindholm, but said it's probably a long shot. Nothing. I mean, it didn't seem like Chychrun is on the Rangers' radar. So I think the Rangers, if they make a move, I could see them. He did mention Andrew Kopp, but kind of unsure if Winnipeg would move him for sure. But it didn't seem like it's just not a move. I don't think the Rangers at the top of the list for Chychrun. Again, I think the Kings are heavily pursuing him. Boston is pursuing him. So I don't think he'll end up in New York. I think he would fit. I just don't think he's going to end up there. Ultimately.
And a lot of people have been saying the Kings for a while, and the Kings got the need for him. And I think they got the prospects to give up.
Yes.
And Filk get right back in there.
You kind of broke up on me when you were
the
speaking.
Kings have a need for Chychrun, and they have the prospects to fill it.
Sure, but they need forwards more than they do defense. They need defense, yeah, but their forward prospects going forward are not. It's not a great group anymore. Or actually, their defensive prospects, I should say, is not a great group. I'm sorry, but I mean, I get it. Chychrun would help there. If they would get him, I mean, yeah, going forward they would look nice. But what are they giving up to get him? Are they giving up Alex Turcotte? Or are they giving up Rasmus Kupari? What are they doing there? So, I mean, sure, if they want to kind of push forward their rebuild and kind of like half-ass it, I guess, sure. Boston makes a lot of sense, but what do they have to get him?
Yeah,
Jack Bednika, John Beecher. What else? What else there? Because a lot of their young guys at the NHL level already really aren't all that impressive so far.
I'm sure Jake DeBrusk might be in that deal, being that he had asked to be traded a while ago.
Yeah, but Jake DeBrusk,
probably.
and he's not playing anywhere close to near his cap hit. He was pretty much waived. I mean, what value does Jake DeBrusk have to a team at this point?
Well, a team like Arizona, who doesn't really have any aspirations to win soon, it's a body that can.
But we're talking about Arizona, not Boston.
Yeah, all right.
We're not talking about so that doesn't even help. And I keep seeing bottom six help us what the team needs. Yes, but when you can't score goals, bottom six isn't going to help you at 5-on-5 offense. If you get top six acquisitions, you can move the ones that aren't doing the job right now down into the bottom six where they probably would succeed. Dryden Hunt. Oh, sorry.
Oh God! Oh my God! I have had it with Dryden Hunt. I can't say that enough. And what's the latest on Vitaly Kravtsov?
I mean, it depends on what happens with Tractor in the playoffs. I mean, he can come back over. That's not.
But what's the status of Tractor in the playoffs right now?
I mean, I would have to take a look into that. I haven't really been following Tractor a whole lot. I'm not going to lie.
We were talking last week that they may win that first round playoff series. But we were talking about this yesterday, guys. I got to bring this back up. Brendan Hagel going for 2 first rounders, Radish, and I'm not even going to bother Kachuk or whatever.
Yeah.
Brendan Hagel is worth 4 players. I understand he's signed for, I think, 2 more years.
Yeah, 1.5.
At 1.5 million. This is when I talk about what is this player going to bring. He's not getting any power play time. I guess he might be. They were talking about him, comparing him to Blake Coleman and Barclay Goodrow.
Well, look,
what is Brendan Hagel going to bring?
What he's going to bring, I think, first and foremost, overpayment. Let's get that out of the way. However, he's got 21 goals. I think a lot of that's a byproduct of who he plays with. However, look past that again. I think the Lightning probably feel with the loss of guys like Yanni Gourde, Blake Coleman, and to an extent Goudreau, but Coleman specifically and Gourde, they were those high energy players who could chip in offensively, had speed, and were kind of gritty. I think they view Brendan Hagel as that type of player. Obviously, he's scoring, so check. And then they feel like he could also play on that, like an energy line, and do other things. And I think they realized they lost that whole third line that was so instrumental in winning, the cups. And I think they're trying to gain a little of that element back. So I think that was the driving force behind that deal. And as I mentioned, Listen, I would hate to see it. Yeah, call it bitter. They beat my Isles twice in a row. But they're in a position where they could realistically win the cup for the third year in a row, which hasn't been done since my Islanders did it. So for them, I mean, they're not worried about the future right now. Yeah, they traded 2 firsts, 2 younger players, but I think especially Radish, I don't think he's going to be what they maybe thought or hoped he'd be. So I don't know if that's a huge loss, but they're not concerned about the future. They're in their mind, they realistically have a window to win 3 cups in a row. And that's what they're focused on. So in that aspect, kudos to Brisebois. He's going for it. Winner's mentality, but in the long run, I don't think it was a good move, and I don't think Hagel will be as productive for Tampa Bay as he was Chicago, because I don't think Hagel's going to play with Braden Point. I mean, sure, if they want to give him every opportunity to keep scoring, maybe they do it, but I don't think he's going to be as productive.
Filk, Brendan Hagel.
Too much. Way too much. You gave up the equivalent of what? 2 first rounders and 2 second rounders for a third, like a middle 6 player that's really unproven. He's shooting at a high percentage too. So his production, more than likely, like Anthony said, is not sustainable on Tampa's bottom 2 lines. And then it depends on who he's playing with. Do they put him with Point? I highly doubt it. Point's going to play with Palat and Kucherov. That's going to be that line. Could he play with Stamkos and Cirelli? Possibly, but why would you do that? I mean, you're bringing him in for depth. They need bottom 6 depth. So more than likely, he's not going to continue to produce it. If that trade does not work out, they do not win the cup this year. That is what Amonte for Noonan and Matto would have looked like in '94 if the Rangers did not win the cup in '94. That's what that would have looked like. That's how bad this has the potential to be. So Brisebois is taking a big gamble. It's like the equivalent of being in a hand in Texas Hold'em and going all in on the turn, or actually all in on the flop, trying to chase a runner straight flush draw.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
about
what
a 1%er
was doing. And I get it. You've got the best goaltender in the world. You've got a really good defense, and you've got players up front. But that much for Brandon Hagel?
I'm going to change a little bit of gears. We know about Ben Sherratt going, but I still think this move right here, that's so. Somebody try to convince me why the Calgary Flames aren't going to win the West.
I got I mean,
get it done.
If I'm trying to make a reach here, I don't like their overall makeup of their 6D. I guess that's the one area where I can kind of nitpick, but
that they could possibly get back Marc Giordano.
I mean, boy, they got one of the best goalies in the league this year, Jacob Markstrom, and then they could score. I mean, you got Lindholm, Gaudreau, Kachuk, Mangiapane. They're getting offense, and that's not even including Monahan if he can ever kind of step up his game. And then you added Toffoli to the mix, Yarncroke, who is not a slouch offensively himself, but also plays a really good defensive game. They really got it all. So it's hard for me not to convince you of that, Mark, but I really like this trade for Calgary. I really do.
Phil, this is like Ace King suited pre-flop, and they're just shoving all their chips in. Yes, can they lose and miss the hand? Like you said, they got to get it done. And it's just, I'm looking at this and going, they're pushing it all in.
The depth is good. Monahan is really one of the biggest pieces for me in this whole thing because Calgary needs good center depth, and Sean Monahan has not played like Sean Monahan in about 3 years now. And that's the biggest thing. Johnny Gaudreau also has kind of a reputation for disappearing come playoff time.
Yes.
So that's another thing. Can their offense get it done? I mean, the difference now with Calgary as opposed to the last few years or so is that they don't have to rely on their offense. They play a real tough game now, and it's real stout defensively, and that's going to make them a tough out for any team in the West, whether it's Colorado, whether it ends up being Vegas, Dallas makes it, Vancouver, whoever the hell they have to play is going to be in for a long series. And Jacob Markstrom being in net makes the big difference because their goaltending has been suspect for years. So they've addressed defense, they've addressed goaltending, and could I see Calgary look to reacquire Marc Giordano? Yeah, I actually could. I think it's very possible. I would rather the Rangers beat them to the punch, but it's possible, and I'm pretty sure if Giordano was traded, that'd probably be at the top of the list of places that he'd probably like to go if he's dealt. So yeah, Toffoli's been really good for them as well. He had scoring and playoff experience, but I still do worry about the offense from them come playoff time. And like I said, because everything goes around Johnny Gaudreau. If Johnny Gaudreau shits the bed in the playoffs, that team's screwed. So
we're going to go with one more piece of news that I broke down at the beginning of this, and then I'm going to ask one question to you guys, and we're going to wrap up the trade deadline discussion. Guys, Robin Lehner being out possibly for the season. How does that change the goalie market? Marc-Andre Fleury, you think he could go back there? Is it Semyon Varlamov, the guy that's going to go over there? I kind of made the joke about that originally. Could they actually have any interest in Alexander Georgiev for real? And he's still on the trade deadline moves. I have no idea how. But Filk, start this one.
Well, Frank Saravalli just did his podcast. I think it was yesterday, and he mentioned that the Rangers are actively trying to move Alexander Georgiev for Vegas. This also happened.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's not good either.
I think that was actually Thursday night.
Yeah, so they could end up missing the playoffs. That's not good for Vegas. Leonard, just a lot of things that are happening at the wrong time for this team. And I don't know if I don't know if Vegas burned their bridge with Marc-Andre Fleury. I think he always knew that it was going to come to a point where he was going to be the one moved, and it was at the end of his career anyway. Is it possible that he ends up going back there? Maybe. I don't know if Semyon Varlamov moves the needle for them, though. I really don't. I still think Marc-Andre Fleury is a better goaltender for them at this point than Semyon Varlamov. And I honestly, I don't know if there's anything that can help that. Now they're in a free fall. They are in a free fall, and they're losing guys. Mark Stone's not coming back anytime soon. Jack Eichel's now hurt. Yeah, things are looking real bad in Vegas.
Anthony, Semyon Varlamov, could he be another former Islander destined to go to Vegas?
I get what Filk's saying about Varlamov not moving the needle for him, but right now their goaltenders are Logan Thompson and Laurent Brissot, whose save percentages are both sub-9. So Semyon Varlamov, if Leonard out for the whole season, Semyon Varlamov is a huge upgrade over those two guys.
That goes without saying, but you're missing the point, though. You think Semyon Varlamov is going to carry a free-falling team to the playoffs? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
They still, I mean, they're struggling, but I mean, they are talented enough still, even with their injuries, Marchessault and Riley Smith, that I think, they can hold on and make the playoffs. But it really comes down to whether or not Vegas' desire to being in the spot they're in. Do they still kind of want to go, quote unquote, all in despite everything and how they're playing right now, and try to really force some ways in the playoffs? Or do they just let the chips fall where they fall and see if they could do it by standing pat? And if they miss, they miss. However, their MO ever since they came into the league and had that success is they've always been a team that they go for it regardless of the situation. They've if you look at their history, they have traded pretty much every first round pick they have taken. Cody Glass, Suzuki, Brandstrom, Peyton Krebs. They literally have traded the majority of the guys they've picked in the first round to get that name player or to get that impact player. So
and if they didn't trade the first round pick, they traded the first round pick.
Yes.
Here's a crucial piece of context that we're leaving out here. Who's the Islanders' starting goaltender right now?
The thriller,
Sorokin.
Ilya Sorokin.
How do you expect somebody that's a backup, that's on the down line, the back nine of his career, to come in and be the starter and help resurrect a free-falling team in the standings in that type of playoff race in the West?
Well, because here's where
I don't think I get what you're saying. It's an upgrade. Yes, that goes without saying. But do you realize how low the bar is set by saying it's an upgrade? Come on, man. Like we're talking about having a guy coming in. Like if we were talking about Marc-Andre Fleury, okay, Marc-Andre Fleury is having a respectable season with the dumpster fire in front of him that is the Chicago Blackhawks. That thing is
reigning Vezina Trophy winner.
Miles an hour. But you can't expect Varlamov to be the answer. I get it. He's proven, but I mean, he's not even having a great year, and he's the backup.
Now, I'm going to close. I'm going to close with a question, but I'll only just close this topic off by saying this: he's the second best option on the market right now. That's the reason why I keep going back to him, because if it's not Fleury, and then it's Varlamov, I don't think Georgiev's number 3. I keep looking at the trade bait boards.
Who the hell knows who's number 3 at this point?
Exactly. And the last goalie to make a difference at the trade deadline was Dwayne Rollison back in 2006 for the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, most of the guys that have made it on the trade deadline, the goalies are tough to get at the deadline, and everybody keeps forgetting that one. So, guys, we're going to have to put on our ridiculous hats. What is a bold move that you see and make a bold trade? Absolutely go nuts. One trade nobody's going to see coming. Anthony, I'm going to start with you.
Ooh, put me on the spot here.
Okay.
I wish I was Filk right now. Let's see. Bold move.
I have one.
Go ahead, Filk.
Marc-Andre Fleury to the Washington Capitals.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Washington might be a little uneasy with the idea of Ilya Samsonov and Vitek Vanacek as their 2 guys in the playoffs. The question is, does Marc-Andre Fleury waive to go to Washington? But I have a feeling he might have one little more competitive run in him. So he says yes, he goes, and he helped the Capitals in the first round. So I don't know if the Capitals go far beyond that, but he could help them win a playoff round.
Anthony, you got one yet?
No, you go, Mark.
All right. I've been trying to think of different ones. Hampus Lindholm to the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I'm going to go with this one. This is my crazy move. First off, by the way, Claude Giroux accepts the trade to go to the Florida Panthers. Sunday, conversations do not go as expected, and the Colorado Avalanche acquire Filip Forsberg. And there is my bold prediction.
All right.
Wow. Okay.
Because Colorado wants to go big game hunting. And if they lose out on Giroux, they're going to pivot, and which is what Ross always says on Friends. So pivot, but they'll go right to Forsberg.
All right, I got it.
Nice.
So Dave Pagnotta at the fourth period has Tyler Bertuzzi on his list of whatever 30 players that could get traded. Second in Detroit in points, having actually a really good year despite not being on the play in Canada. I don't think he'll be moved, but he's on there for a reason. I'm going to say that the Minnesota Wild need some more offensive firepower, and they add Tyler Bertuzzi to help Kirill the Thrill out and give him some more offensive depth.
Wow. He's got a decent contract, right?
Yeah, he's
got like
he's
5.5%.
signed.
Yeah, he's signed. He's signed for a while. That's amazing. Because I didn't know. He's one of those guys I look at every single year and think, geez, he could help out my team. But instead,
no.
Got 1 year after this, and then he hits unrestricted free agency, but he's only making $4.75 million.
Wow, that's great.
Not a lot.
That is great. By the way, what do you guys think? You guys have some bold predictions of the playoffs? We or the trade deadline, I should say. We had the Philip Forsberg to the Rangers, and that's I could see Dolan making the Rangers do that this week. So, you got any other predictions? Throw it down in the comments below, and of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. We're gonna do some bar talk and then get right back to trade talk.
I'm going to take a shot on this one.
I'm going to say beer.
I'm buying everybody around on this. Oh my God.
Guys, welcome back to Big Apple Hockey Bar Talk, where we gauge our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drink. Are you so confident you're buying everybody around? You're really not that confident. You just want a shot, or just because I'll take a beer. Why not? What the hell? So, and I got John back in. But Phil, I'm going to start with you. As soon as actually, you know what? I'll wait.
Start with me.
I can always start with you. All right, yeah. The New York Islanders will not move anyone whose last name begins with a B.
Beer. You're putting up on a T for me here with Bailey, Beauvillier. Some guys have been in the rumor mill. They're an intriguing team. A couple of weeks back in his 32 thoughts, Friedman said that one quoted executive said that teams are petrified and admitting if they're talking to Lou about anything. So, I don't know. I think Cal Clutterbuck's getting a lot of interest around the league just because the style of games he plays.
He's gone.
And yeah, I think he might be gone. He's perfect for a playoff team. So I could see him going. Despite our last discussion, I still am on the fence about Varlamov. I think that can go either way. Beauvillier, that'd be more of a hockey deal. And Lou could do it. He could easily make a hockey trade with somebody involving Beauvillier. And then Bailey, there's been some discussion about him, but my gut says that he doesn't move either, maybe in the offseason. So I'll go beer, but I will say if I had to predict right now, I would say Cal Clutterbuck will probably be an ex-Islander by 3 p.m. on Monday.
Filk.
I definitely do not see anybody trading for Cal Clutterbuck unless the Islanders are retaining on that, and I don't even know.
They always will take bottom six forwards.
Cal Clutterbuck can tell himself he's just trash at this point, straight trash. But I'm gonna say beer to this, because I don't know who deals for Josh Bailey. I hear the arguments about, his playoff numbers are good. Okay, well, who of his playoff numbers come playing with? And it's only been in 2 postseasons. So I'm not buying Josh Bailey as a difference maker. I think a hockey trade for Anthony Beauvillier would be far more likely. And I don't even think that's likely. So I'm going to say beer. I'm bordering on shot on this, but I'm going to say beer.
I'm going to go beer, and the reason why is because I do think that Bailey could go somewhere. His contract kind of makes it a little bit more that it's going to be a draft day deal. So that's the way I'm just going to go with on that. Filk, we're going to channel our inner Ilya Bryzgalov for a second. The New York Rangers will make a humongous big major move at the deadline.
I'm gonna say beer. I'm bordering on shot. I don't see it happening. I would like to see them do something crazy just because chaos would be fun. But like a Philip Forsberg out of nowhere, something like that would be ridiculous. But I don't see it happening, so I'm gonna go with beer.
Anthony.
Yeah, major to me, the way it's worded, kind of like example like Patrick Kane or something like that. I don't think a move of that magnitude is going to happen. I think they very well might add a Ricard Raquel, who Staple mentioned today, or Marc Giordano. Those aren't major moves, but they're solid moves that I think would help the Rangers. But as far as this major move, I'm going to go shot.
And there he is right there. Now we actually got, since it's a 2-person thing, it's a 3-person thing. The shot glass isn't covering up Filk's face like it was the last couple weeks. Sometimes it matched the expression. I'm going to go shot too. The reason why is because I don't see that move that's going out there. And I know they have Ryan Strome as a pending UFA. That's been talked about, that they could end up, they got to figure out what the contract situation was him. Ryan Strome is getting moved at the deadline no matter what. Somebody was mentioning that the other day, and I'm like, no, it's not happening. But
yeah,
I mean, I do have to say this, and I only got 13 seconds to make this. If the Rangers re-sign Ryan Strome at $6.5 million, you might as well trade away Kako and Lafreniere. So, because they have no purpose on the team anymore.
I'll go jump off the bridge.
Yeah. All right, guys. Alexander Ovechkin passing Jaromir Jagr couldn't have come at a worse time. I'll start this one off and buy everybody around, because I don't think it's a little bit of current events, Anthony, and it's a little bit of he's kind of not been talking as much, but you know what? It's just it sucks, but on the other hand, at least it happened in Washington. That was the one good thing that happened with this. So I'll go to you, Anthony.
I mean, I kind of get what you're referencing, but shot.
Okay.
I think it was a great moment. Even came against my Islanders, and I enjoyed the moment. How everyone came off the ice. The video of Jagr afterwards reminding him that he's not officially retired, joking around to come back to the NHL. But listen, it's an incredible accomplishment that we've been able to watch Ovi this long and see him become the 3rd-time leading scorer, goals, I should say. Great moment. Good for Ovi. Good for longtime Capital fans. It's a shot for me. Hopefully he keeps climbing.
All right, Filk.
I'm going to say beer because I kind of get what you're getting, but again, keep politics the hell out of sports, please. Keep politics. This guy enjoys his moment. He has nothing to do with what's going on over there. He has nothing to do with any of this. He's an incredible player. He's going to go down as probably a top 10 to 15 player of all time, depending on who you talk to. And just let the guy enjoy his damn moment. Let him continue to chase Gretzky. And hopefully, if he does end up breaking Gretzky's record, we don't have to worry about what's going on over there, and all the situation is resolved by then, because that would be one of the biggest things for hockey to break Gretzky's record. It would mean so much exposure for this, and having something like that going on during all this, and just keep the pop out of sports, please.
Right. And it's the NHL and NHL fans are getting robbed of one of the best personalities in the game right now because of things that's happening. So again, it's a reality of life, unfortunately. Guys, I never flashed that on Tuesday night. And by the way, he just went, he caught it like just backhand, forehand, and then bar down. I mean, what chance did Varlamov had? The Toronto Maple Leafs.
That was the shot off the face-off.
Yeah, the shot off the face-off. He caught the puck, and then he quickly got to his forehand, and then bar down.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a net mouth goal. I was like, no,
Oh no, no, it was great.
no, it was.
All right. But
Face
going
off.
back to this, the Toronto Maple Leafs will fall to a wild card spot, and that's a good thing. Anthony.
I'm gonna say shot. I think they fend off Boston. They finished third in the Atlantic. I don't also think it would be a terrible thing if they fell to a wild card spot, because that means they would draw the likely the Panthers or the Hurricanes in round one, and I think both those teams would wax Toronto in a 7-game series. Honestly, I think if it stands as now Tampa Bay, the 2-3 matchup, I think Tampa Bay would wax them too. So I think regardless of their situation, I think Toronto's in a bad shape. But I do think they stay in second in the Atlantic.
All right. And Filk?
Yeah, I'm gonna say shot here too. I think Matthews just hot right now to let that happen. They still have the big four. I still think they're gonna go make a move, and I think that's gonna help. I don't know about goaltending. I don't know if the goaltending's gonna help. I hate to say Alexander Georgiev to the rescue, but I mean, if Toronto doesn't want to give up a lot for a goaltender, there would be the guy. I don't think I think he could help as a starter somewhere, and he would be an upgrade. He could also be one of those tandem type guys with Campbell, because Campbell's obviously hit a wall. Like, his workload is just, it's too much. He can't handle the workload. So I'm gonna say about this.
I phrased this question like this for a reason, and I'm still not sure, because then they avoid Tampa. But then I'm not sure that Tampa's not going to get the number 1 seed. I'm not sure who's going to get the number 1 seed, because there's a 3-dog fight for that right now. I'm going to say shot that that they're going to fall to the wild card, and then it's a good thing. I think they might fall to the wild card anyway. Boston's coming. Boston is coming, and it's not a good thing, because I mean, out of all the teams, I kind of view the weakest out of the top tier teams, it's Carolina. What is the move that Carolina makes at the deadline?
They're going to do something. I think they're going to do something. I don't know what that is, but I think they're going to make a move.
You want a bold prediction?
Oh, here we go.
For the Hurricanes.
That one makes more sense to me.
Jagr tweeted earlier about that there with the Predators that there's been like a little bit of like positive movement with the talks between Forsberg and Nashville. I don't think being that they're in a playoff spot and everything, I don't think he's going to be traded. I think he's going to stay with Nashville through the deadline, but it would make for some excitement and something to talk about if he was moved, but I don't think he's going to be moved.
I know this. He wants to stay in Nashville.
Yeah, that's what Pagnotta said too. Also, that both sides do have a desire to make it work, but
there's a different reason for that too. That I can't help but want this to happen, and that's we talk about players and loyalties to franchises and such, and sometimes the franchise's loyalty to players too. And then it's a business, blah blah blah. But I mean, Forsberg has been a Panther now since I think the 2014 season, was it?
Predator.
That's what I meant to say. Thank you. Him and Justin Huberdeau, but it's just Justin Huberdeau. But it's one of those. I'd love to see one guy just stick with the franchise forever, and just go through their goods, they go through their bads, and like Joe Pavelski when he went to the Stanley Cup Finals with the Sharks, and it's great that he's playing on his second team right now, but it's just kind of like that. I got to be staying. Guys, last topic, and then we're going to talk about some more stuff. The Vancouver Canucks will make the playoffs. I'm rooting for them, but unfortunately, it's just a beer. I'm going to flash the standings on that in a second, And the reason why for that, obviously, the reason to root for them, man, Bruce Boudreau is such a everybody loves Bruce Boudreau. But you look at those numbers, Vegas has one more game than Vancouver. Dallas has played 2 games less than Vancouver, and Vancouver is third in those points. So, Filk, go to you. Vancouver, can they make the playoffs?
I want to buy around, but I can't because I think Dallas is going to take that last spot. I think Miro Heiskanen's going to come back. I think the way that Robertson, Pavelski, and Hintz are all playing right now is just too much. I just think that Dallas is a better defensive team. I like Thatcher Demko more than either of Dallas' goaltenders, but I just don't know if it's enough in Vancouver. I really don't. So I'm going to say beer, but I think Dallas.
Anthony.
Like Filk, I want to go round. I'm rooting for him. They're 3 points out, so definitely entirely possible. But yeah, I think I like Dallas more than I like Vancouver for reasons he stated. I mean, Jason Robertson's playing great. Hence, Pavelski defying, aging. He's still producing the way he's playing. And can you imagine if Sagan and Ben can turn back the clock and actually play good hockey? I mean, that would probably seal a deal for the Stars. But yeah, I think Dallas, gun to my head's going to squeeze in, but I would really like to see Vancouver. I like a lot of their players. I like Quinn Hughes a lot. I like Brock Besser. I love Elias Pettersson and Bo Horvat. And I like Bruce Boudreau. So, I hope they get in, but I'm going beer instead of going with my heart and saying round.
I always go back to that first 24/7 for HBO when they were
Bruce
doing
Boudreau first Storm.
Oh God, he was cursing up a blue streak. But the thing is, he was really the star that they made out of that show. I know that they were trying to promote Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin, but man, everybody loved Bruce Boudreau after that.
Yeah, and it's funny because it looks like the happiest, nicest old little man, but he's got the worst mouth on him in the world.
Which is great, and it's great because when he was on NHL Network, none of that.
Yep.
But yeah, you can't help but root for this team, especially the fact that I think all of us, we at the beginning of the year, we would have thought Travis Green would still have this job right now, and but this is what a great coach does. He took that roster that Jim Benning put together, and now look at it's completely reshaped. And Jim Rutherford, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a move to try to improve their team either. They got 36 hours to do it.
I was about surprised if Rutherford hasn't, because he's usually the early bird special before the trade deadline, like other brand.
Yeah, he's done that a lot.
Darren Dreger just tweeted a little bit ago. He said trade talks in Anaheim have intensified around Hampus Lindholm. As always, leave room for a surprise club to land him, but the St. Louis Blues and Boston remain prime contenders.
Oh, the St. Louis Blues getting Hampus Lindholm would be the replacement that they have been looking for Alex Pietrangelo for, 2 seasons now? Oh.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Torrey Krug hasn't been that. But, by the way, we're going to go right back to that right now. But first, let's close this out. Guys, what do you think? Vancouver Canucks, can they make the playoffs in this situation? Toronto Maple Leafs fall into a wild card. Humongous big move for the New York Rangers. And the Islanders moving a player whose name begins with a B. So,
and one last thing, should everybody in the NHL change their name to Justin so that Marc can't screw up their names?
No, because you need a Bodie or a Brody or a Marty. They all got to get in there.
Oh,
hey Leo, how you doing?
Hi Leo.
Hey Z, I'll probably see you this week. And I'm going to be going to Arizona for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get 50 days with the same girl, but I can, or 50 minutes at times. But it's just they're making it 50 years. How long are you married, Anthony?
Will be 7 years in August.
I was at that.
All right. Wow. First off, good for you. Yeah. I thought Marc was Justin Williams this entire time. No. Justin Williams ruined my last name for 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
I would have ruined it long.
At least
Oh, that's not good.
I was about to highlight that one
Gee.
too.
That's a low blow, Dave. That's a low blow. Man, I'm rough on him, but holy crap, that was bad.
Oh, please. That one was a layup.
I mean, you did walk into it, but
Oh, of course. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
not you just walk into it. You were like the birds in the Windex commercial where you flew into the glass door that you couldn't see.
Filk, how about this one? Look at course. Justin Laviolette.
Wow, he first try.
Yeah. Sometimes I move the L around. Laviolette.
Laviolette. It's an easy name.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Leo here, Leonardo. I'm gonna call you Leonardo just because I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan, but no,
I was always a
nothing.
Donatello guy.
I was always a Michelangelo guy, but
Everybody
yeah,
loves Michelangelo.
Leonardo is definitely where we're gonna go because Leonardo's awesome. But hearing from a friend that the Rangers are finalizing to get Radulov and heard that it's Gauthier and a pick. I'm not gonna try to slam you, Leo. I don't know. I don't know the reliability, so I don't want to say anything there. But I mean, I hope that's right. That would be awesome. So
I'm reading this one. Edmonton Oilers are reportedly. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, never mind. That's all a spoof thing. It was Edmonton Oilers were reportedly interested in Greg the Keg, but they're holding out for a franchise center.
how did you not think that was a spoof?
Well, I started out with that, but
Oh my God, Marc. I was a Raphael guy, now just a Paul Heyman guy. We're all Paul Heyman. Justin Radulov. Yeah, that'd be an interesting name for a Russian. Have not heard one that one hearing Drury is really going. All right, AZ, you're gonna have to reword that. Are you hearing that they're going for Giordano? Is that what you're saying there? Sorry.
What is too much to pay for Giordano?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, this is a good one from Grant. Who's the Rangers prospect that will be willing to trade for a rental? I'd be willing to move Vitaly Kravtsov if it's a high-end rental. If it's lower end, I'd rather cap that at Matthew Robertson. I don't want to move Matthew Robertson necessarily, but that's like the most I would,
Lori Payanami.
Drury not going to overpay for rentals. Yeah, that is true.
I think they have amassed a good amount of draft picks, so I wouldn't be surprised if draft picks are what's the center of that deal that we got with this. Anthony, what would be as we're going through some questions? If let's make you Lou again. Let's pretend it's an honest press conference.
Oh, Big Lou.
Yeah. So, what is your strategy then for next week for the next 2 days?
I think for again, the Islanders don't really have many rentals to sell. Like, Chara, which surprisingly enough, there's been a lot of interest in, but Chara at this point of his career, he's already won a cup. Unless he specifically tells Lou he wants to chase another one, he's going to stay. Chara picked the Islanders for a reason. It's close enough to where he's still somewhat close to his, quickly go see his family who are still in Boston. So I don't know if Chara wants to go anywhere because of that. And again, Andy Green, but I don't know how much interest in him there is. They said yesterday, Zach Parise said he wants to stay with the Islanders, how much he's enjoying it. Again, I don't know if he would. It would be up to him. I don't think he wants to move right now. So, again, it might make Lou's job easy in the fact that a lot of his rentals, either A, there's not much interest in, or they want to stay. So that really leaves Clutterbuck. And, I know, I share some of the sentiments Filk has on him, but despite that, there's still a significant amount of teams who are interested in him. And, if Lou gets the right offer, you got to move him. So, yeah, if I'm Lou, basically just kind of, if teams come calling on my players, if they offer enough to entice him, then pull the trigger. So he doesn't have to do anything, really. He can not do a damn thing on Monday.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do anything.
This here was what I was going to say. He literally can just sit back and let people come to him.
Yeah, pretty much.
I wouldn't go crazy if I'm Lou at this point. I mean, unless somebody, gives you an offer to overpay on Josh Bailey, because we've seen a bunch of stupid general managers come out. I
think Josh Bailey's best chance to move is actually at the draft.
Yeah, just because he's got term on his deal, and he's got. I mean, it's not a small contract, but it's not a large one. I'd say it's a significant contract, if you want to call it that. I mean, we're going to really
significant for a guy with 3 goals of the season.
Yeah, it's just too. I think it's too much for a guy that gives you the type of production that he's given. So I'm not sure if he's moved right now. Maybe, like you said, in the offseason. But I'm Lou. Sit back. Let people come to me. This is a good one, though, because I was talking about this on Twitter the other day. John Potvin just unexpectedly passed away out of nowhere. Rest in peace. And I didn't hear the chant because, obviously, Marc, you knew my situation. But if there were any Potvin sucks chants on Thursday night, then that's completely disrespectful. I think it's time for this chant to finally be killed. And I know it's like the boomer generation says, no, we love this chant, it's tradition. Then it's like the millennials and Gen Z or whatever you want to call them. They're like, no, well, get rid of it. And then there are people in the middle. It's enough. It should have been retired when he retired. It's stupid.
I'm not for retiring the chant. I'll go with that one. Yes, I understand everything you just said. And just to say it for the fans that did say, because I know Cora's saying that sadly he heard it, they weren't saying Jean Potvin.
Doesn't matter.
When Dennis Potvin goes, they're still going to do it.
It doesn't matter though. Potvin's his brother. I mean, regardless if they didn't say Jean Potvin, that's irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
look, they've gone one day without doing it.
Dennis's brother.
Yeah, Dennis's brother. Trust me, you have so many Simpsons quotes, movie quotes, and sports statistics. You're going to end up saying Justin every now and again. It's just, yes, it can be changed. It's been changed once. It was from Mike Keenan when they decided to do Keenan sucks, but no, it's I that's the only reason why I just say you don't have to change it. But is it time for it to change? Yeah, it could change. Wouldn't be against Wilson sucks, but basically he's the same thing.
You could change it to the name of the team that's playing them sucks. I don't know. Single somebody else. It's just stupid.
Yeah, but now Potvin's embraced it. So
yeah, but it's be done 15 million times against the Winnipeg Jets on a Tuesday night. Like that,
oh yeah, but I still can't help but like doing it.
90% of the people that are chanting it don't even know who Dennis is anymore.
Well, it's not. First off, I'd still rather do Potvin sucks than yes.
the yes is lame and it's cringe because they stole it from a WWE wrestler.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, and again, and they asked Poppin about it. He goes, they're always saying popping cups. So it's, yeah. My cousin says it's Poppin's cups. There it is, Shepard. So,
and yeah, this right here is apples to oranges. If we didn't win the cup, you think the Owl shit. It's apples to oranges. There's no reason to even bring that up. So,
well, and by the way, the also answer is no.
No,
we would have been. We would have still heard that in our sleep.
The oranges situation. It's time to move on. Tired for 35 years almost now. 35 years. Give it a rest.
Actually, it's worse. It's 40 years.
No,
it's like started in the 80s, early 80s. So
no, I'm saying Dennis retired in 87 or 88.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that. Filk, did you see the one regarding Patrick Nemeth?
Yeah, I saw that question from Grant. It's actually a good one. Has he been better? Yes. Is he still bad? Yes.
Has he killed a goaltender recently? No.
No. I mean, that's, I guess, a good part, but it just he's not. Yeah, we're setting the bar really low here. I mean, he's definitely, there's a noticeable uptick in his play. So, I mean, yeah, but again, I think some fans are, and this kind of sums it up. Better doesn't always mean good, but I don't know. It just, I think that we need to stop overrating players. I think this fan base has a tendency to do that with some.
New York fan bases have a tendency to do that. I can't tell you how many Yankee prospects I've known throughout the years. Thought Ricky Leday was going to be the greatest thing of all time.
Ricky Leday.
I remember Greg Jeffries was the next big thing, buddy. So yeah,
but by the way, he was at least the number one ranked prospect according to Baseball Magazine. That for 2 years, he was like Roberto Luongo for as far as that went, and then he just didn't mesh in the locker room.
And what ended up happening?
Lots of stuff. Just lots. Yeah. I mean, at least it wasn't Scott Kazmir changing the radio, from what I heard. Or the better story is him buzzing the tower on Jeff Wilpon. So last thing's Village. There's another one. All right, never mind, David. Never mind that one. How about Alex Escobar? Remember him?
Philip Humber.
Philip Humber's got a perfect game to his record, at least. So,
yeah. I mean, what else can you say about his career off the top of your head?
He was traded for Johan Santana.
What else can you say about his career off the top of your head? Exactly.
Damn it. He's got a perfect game. He was traded for Johan Santana. There we go. There's two things. Generation K. Yeah. The best one that came out of Generation K was actually Bobby Jones. Phil, answer this one. And we're going to go. Yeah, you already clicked it. We're probably going to go another 10 minutes, guys, because it's we got a packed day for all of us.
I got some stuff I got to do too, so I'll probably
yeah. We're rotating around our schedule right now to do what's best for the three of us. I mean, because the show works best when it's the three of us, and
yeah.
So it's
a
lot of things have been shifting.
But yeah,
I don't think Jagr is overrated. I think he's rated where he should be.
You know what? Actually, I shouldn't say overrated because he can't do any wrong. And if you do wrong, there are some people that'll come out and try and say that you're racist against him, which is stupid.
Yeah.
It's I really have. He has games here and there where he looks really good, but the majority of his games, you're just like, what are you doing? and I like he's also gotten converted from offense to defense at a later age in his life. He's only been playing defense for like 5 years, but Zach Jones converted around the same exact time, and Zach Jones is a better defender. And Zach Jones breathes the wrong way, and he's in Hartford. Keandre Miller goes out and makes anywhere from 2 to 4 egregiously bad mistakes per game. 1 or 2 of those that end up in the back of the net, and still gets to play. So, you know what? And these people are going to say, "Oh, he's a pup. He's only going to get better." What if he doesn't like Brady Shea did? Because
what if he plateaued like Brady Shea?
Said this about Brady Shea, and Brady Shea got worse.
Brady Shea was never the same after that game too, as everybody always likes to remember. No, nobody likes to remember it. I'll say it: the Jean-Gabriel Pageau game, and it's just ever since then it hasn't been the same. Anthony, I want to go back to you on the other question. Who was an Islanders prospect that was highly touted that you just like, this guy isn't going to go anywhere?
Justin Mappletoft, Justin Papineau.
Justin Papineau, a St. Louis Blues draft.
Yeah, they traded in they got him in Chris Osgood deal. Let's see. Jason Krog, he won the Hobie Baker Award in the NCAA. Jason Krog ended up not doing really much anything.
He did go to the Stanley Cup Finals with the Anaheim.
Yeah. Jeff Tambellini. Again, he was a Kings prospect they got in a trade, but
bang, there's your guy.
There were high hopes for him.
Robert Nilsson.
Yep, Robert Nilsson. Yeah.
But Robert Nilsson turned into Ryan Smith. So the Rangers still got nothing out of Hugh Jessamine.
Petteri Nokalainen, their first round pick in 2004. Ryan O'Mara, who was also in the Ryan Smith trade, he was a first round pick. Didn't really amount to much.
Ryan Strome, Shepard's got that one.
There's been a bunch of them.
But I'm going to go, and I'll only just say this. Yeah, Brady Shea's been playing better, but he plateaued, and he still is notorious for giveaways. He's just got so many giveaways.
Brady Shea also isn't playing 25 minutes a night. He's playing 21, and he's behind Slavin and Pesci for that. And the only reason why he's even playing 21 is because D'Angelo is a dumpster fire in his own zone.
And the next time he back checks will be the first. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Anthony, you got any good bet recommendations?
No, I didn't bet on anything today. So
okay.
Yeah.
But I get out, so
yeah.
I know if I got some things I got to take care of today.
All right. So yeah, we are going to cut this one short, guys. Sorry. Usually, we like to do at least 2 hours, but I might also just I might have to take a nap. I'm going to be working tonight. So, and tomorrow, oh my God, tomorrow is the Wanshaw St. Patrick's Day parade. They're expecting 60,000 people in Wanshaw. So I can't wait to walk in a bar at 7:00 at night because everybody's going to be sober.
So Kevin Weeks 4 minutes ago, from what I told, the Florida Panthers have improved their offer to the Flyers for potential Giroux deal, especially given the return for Hagel. Yet it's not quite enough yet to consummate a deal. So looks like
are they starting to? They're not going to possibly get rid of. God, I hope I got his name right. Denisenko?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, he could be on the table.
First, by the way, Dave, if everybody's drunk, they're not always tipping. And secondly, yes, Core, definitely avoid one.
See how attached Giroux was to Philly. You got to wonder though, whoever trades for him, is he simply just going to take his ball and sign back in Philly in the offseason? I don't know.
Saying that the Jets are starting to embrace to sell
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I
But yeah.
I actually just exited out of that.
So
that's a cute dog.
I'm out though, boys.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna cut it short right here, guys. So again, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. We're like I said, our schedule shifting around. We're gonna be getting to some different days soon, and we're gonna try to figure out when the best time is to do this for us. But always, thank you guys for joining us, and I'll see most of you on Monday. Anthony, you gonna join me on Monday?
I might be able to. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
we'll
Thank
see.
you, because I'm not sure if I could do the Filk and be on for 5 hours by myself. All right. So, guys, thank you very much. Take it easy.
Take care.